Alexander and James, really interesting business proposition. And it took Diageo a while, I think, to really understand what we wanted to do and why we wanted to do it. But there's been such an explosion in the way consumers engage with brands. And obviously the e-commerce online world is something that we really wanted to get into in a much more rigorous way. We obviously do a lot with our customers in that way and through their channels, but we also felt we could really develop a proposition that helped grow the opportunity to sell our products brilliantly in a really end-to-end way through direct-to-consumer. Alexander and James really was born out of wanting to ensure we had a brand that could be used around the world. So wherever there is a market that it's appropriate for us to launch in, that's what we want to do. Diageo itself is not a consumer brand. What our brands are our brands, are the Johnnie Walkers, are the Rosebanks, are the malts, are the Singletons. And we felt if we used one of those brands, and in a way that automatically narrows what consumers might think the proposition and the brand delivered. Whereas Alexander and James, which actually comes from the heritage of Alexander Walker, the grandson of John Walker, and James Buchanan from Buchanan's Whiskey, really gave some heritage and also allowed us to move into a space where we could not only sell to people who enjoy our fine spirits, but also get into the gifting proposition in a way that we wouldn't if we were to use one of our normal brands. With single-minded determination, I think is the first thing. It was a very new thing for us to be looking at, and it involved an absolute plethora of different functions, departments, people's views, as you can imagine. So it was all about keeping it as a very tight team, having people solely focused on doing this and making sure their goal was about delivering this, but at absolutely all times ensuring we stuck to our principle of having a luxury end-to-end proposition, and one that was fulfilled in practice in that way in everything that we did. There are many lessons I've personally learned from this exercise. I would go back to, I think, having single-minded focus to deliver something was really critical. Being able to imbue passion in others about what we were doing, because whilst it was a really exciting opportunity for us, and many people said, oh, it's great we're doing this, we should have done this a while ago, there were also some people who were quite concerned about it in terms of the impact on our other channels. So really being single-minded and really being passionate. And whilst we absolutely made sure on day one we launched a luxury site with full luxury end-to-end experience, also remember that when you do these things, actually you learn the most having launched, and when you learn from what consumers are doing on your site. So whilst we had lots of plans of what we thought we would do after launch, yes, some of those were right, but actually we've learned many more things, and so we're now putting those learnings into practice. So day one will not be perfect from the opportunities you still have. It needs to be perfect though from end-to-end experience for your consumers.